Hey y'all, welcome back to the Bedroom Spice Unfiltered. We back with another hot topic. I'm your host, Deshawn Phillips, and if you're new here, this is where we have the real, raw, unfiltered conversations about dating, relationships, sex, and everything that people feel, but they don't always want to say out loud. So if you like a little honesty, a little controversy, and if you like conversations that might hit a nerve, but actually make you think, I want y'all to go ahead and subscribe and tap in because we got some real hot topics over here. Now, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. I'm going to be real with y'all. This is one of those realizations that didn't come to me right away. It took me sitting by myself and really get to thinking, really being honest in a way that's uncomfortable. Because at first I really believed that I missed certain people, right? I thought it was love. I thought it was emotional. Well, I thought it was like an emotional attachment. I thought that it was something deep. But when I actually slowed down and broke it all the way down, I realized that I didn't miss them the way that I thought I did. The thing that I missed was having access to them. And that hit me differently because that's not something that people really talk about. When you lose somebody, everybody automatically labels it as heartbreak. Like, oh my God, you lost that person, or blase, blase, whatever, whatever. But what people don't really say out loud is that you also lost access. You lose or you lost that ability to reach that person whenever you want it. You lost the ability to call that person, to text that person, to check in, pull up, vent, laugh, connect. All of that disappears at the same time. So when all of that disappears, it creates avoidance. And it's like our mind tries to make sense of that void. So that's when we start saying things like, oh, I really miss this person. But a lot of times it's not even that you miss the person like that. You're just missing that access. You miss that availability. It's knowing that that person was there, that person was in your space, in your reach, in your world whenever you felt like it. Now, because I've had moments where I caught myself thinking about somebody heavy, still to this day, like really sitting there replaying those good memories, feeling that pull, almost convincing myself, like, yeah, like I need that person back. And then gotta come back to realization, pause, and really check myself. I gotta ask myself if that person came back exactly how they were before, with those same habits, same patterns, same issues, would I actually be happy? There things that make you go, right? And when I answered that honestly, it wasn't a strong yes. So that's when it clicks inside of your head. You don't really miss the reality of who that person was. You miss the comfort of having that access to them. You miss that feeling of knowing that you could reach them whenever you wanted. You miss the familiarity, right? Ego, when you have your ego, it does not like losing access. Your ego doesn't like the feeling like something that used to be yours is no longer available to you. Your ego, your ego does not like knowing that somebody who used to answer your calls might ignore you now. It doesn't like that. It doesn't like knowing that you can't just pop back in whenever you feel like it. That feeling can honestly be mistaken for love very quickly when in reality is not, because now your mind starts doing what it does best. It starts romanticizing about that person, right? It starts to highlight the good moments. It starts um minimizing the bad ones, right? It's we overlooking the bad problems that person had. the bad memories. We just start looking at the good memories. So now we coming up with excuses saying, oh, it wasn't that bad. We could have worked it out. Maybe I should just reach out, right? But if you really sit with it, a lot of that is coming from the discomfort of not having that access anymore. Now, I did start noticing that I did start noticing this, not just in myself, but in how other people move too. Because we tend to see this all the time. People doubling back in their relationships or back to that person who did them wrong. People start reopening those doors. People um start sending those text messages that say, "Hey stranger," right? People start checking um that person's social media, the stories, liking pictures, just testing the waters. And that's when they'll say that they miss that person. But a lot of times they don't even like that person for real like that. They don't like the fact that their access is gone. They don't like the feeling that they can't get to them anymore. They don't like that feeling that their door is being closed. As long as that door feels open, there's comfort in that. Even if you're not actively dealing with that person, just knowing you can is enough. Now, when that option is gone for real, that's when it's going to hit different. That's when people start feeling restless. That's when they start reminiscing. That's when they start reaching back out. Not because it makes sense, but it's because it feels familiar. Familiarity can be addictive, even when it's not good for you and even when it didn't work. Even when you know deep down inside you should not go back to it. But, excuse me, because it's not always that person. It's about what they represented in your life, the role they played, the access they gave you. When you lose all of that, it's like losing a part of your routine, a part of your identity, a part of your emotional comfort, right? So instead of sitting with that and going, growing with that, we try to fill that gap by going backwards. A lot of us do. Like I said, I'm guilty of it too. Because we reopen something that already showed you that it wasn't right. We try to convince ourselves that this time it'll be different, when really they just don't like not having access anymore. Right? And like I said, I had to check myself on that too. Because now whenever I feel like I miss somebody, I have to pause and ask myself a real question. Do I actually miss who they are as a person, or do I just miss having them available to me? Do I miss the reality of them, or or the convenience of them? Those are two completely different answers, right? And if you can't be honest about that, then you're going to keep going back to those things that were never meant to move forward. And you're going to keep reopening them doors that should have stayed closed. You're going to keep confusing familiarity with compatibility. And you're going to keep calling it love when it's really just access. Now, I already know this one is going to hit some people different. So let's talk. I want y'all to answer this for me. Do you actually miss that person, or do you just miss having access to them? I want y'all to be honest in the comments because I'm reading everything. And if you're rocking with conversations like this, the real, unfiltered, no sugarcoating topics, make sure you subscribe and stay tapped in with the Bedroom Spice Unfiltered, because we have a whole lot more hot topics like this and more. So y'all tap in and subscribe and let me know what y'all think about this.